So how about let's talk about education for a minute.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
education is
Same
another
deal.
area.
Same deal.
So right. So it's the same. It's in that same space. It's in that same. So
Yeah.
so if that is the case, do we deal with it the same way, or what? Where are there any differences
I think
that
so.
we need to attack this thing?
It really, believe it or not, it's kind of almost the same thing. It's the same incentives for teachers in the city of Detroit, you see what I'm saying, in the city of Philadelphia, you know what I'm saying, city of Miami, it just the same thing applies.
Right.
The same thing applies. Where are the incentives for the good teachers? And I'm gonna tell you, there was once upon a time Detroit was the school district was amazing, right? We talked about that before. Amazing. The education system was great, and then for whatever reason, it's gotten worse. But in these places, what's the incentive for these good teachers to stay in the inner city to educate these students?
So let me.
It's certainly not money.
All right, so
'cause they're not getting paid the same.
But I don't know if we can get past this one point you
They're not
just
getting,
made.
they're not getting paid the same.
I don't know if we can get past this one point you made. I don't even know. Really wonder what's in that cigar that you smoking or something, or what you drinking. Because you just said something. I'm like, you got to be out of your mind.
What's that?
Come on, man.
I'll tell you after you.
Man.
I'll tell you whether it's the cigar or the drink.
I don't know what it is, but you said okay. You said that we are not what now? What did you say we don't do?
What?
That's black folks.
I didn't say that. What you talking about? I didn't say that what you're drinking. I said the same situation, that problem we have in the education system, the same we have in the healthcare system. It's the same.
No, it's not the same.
There's no incentive for
That's what I
good
said.
teachers. It's like good doctors.
But it's not the same.
Why not?
They're two different things.
Yeah, they are. But the problem is the same. The good teachers are not going to be in the inner city because they're not incentives for them to be there. Just like the doctors, it's messed up. A good teacher could get paid in the suburbs much more than a teacher in the city of Detroit.
No, but you said something before that.
I don't know what I said.
So we'll backtrack. You said something right before that.
I don't know
This is what you said. You said you said a good teacher you said that we used to have.
We did.
Okay. Good school system. That's a shame you said that.
We did.
It's a shame you said that.
You know we did.
Nah.
In Detroit?
Okay, for all the videos that we've had on here or whatever, you mean to tell me you've heard me say we had a good school system? I doubt it.
We did.
We didn't.
You might want to back up and you want to check your history out. Detroit system was one of the stellar systems in the country 30 years ago. Was one of the best.
You talking about
one of the best
you talking about
public school system in the country.
Okay, first of all, we got to talk about what era you talking about, because
I said 30 years ago.
No, 30 years ago, really?
Yeah,
you talking about when we were there?
Yes.
I mean, wait a minit. So
It's one of the best in the country.
Well, first of all, we wasn't there 30 years ago. We was there before.
Well, I know.
I mean, longer than that.
Don't tell my age.
So, but anyways,
back in the day, this is put it back there. Back in the day, the Detroit public school system.
No, it was horrible. It was horrible. They had some that were better than others, but all of it was horrible.
Are you kidding?
This is
Do
how
your
I
research.
feel.
Do your research.
No, what I'm saying is,
do your research, man.
No, what I'm saying is it was what? Well, based upon whose assessment? Whose assessment was that?
Because people they came from far and wide to learn to learn how
All right.
our system, our education system was one of the top in the country 30, 40 years ago, one of the top in the country. And all over the country, they were sending people from cities to
Right.
find out how our cities And why our
You know,
why our city why our education system was so good.
Sorry,
we had a great educational system, Reuben.
Okay, come
on now.
No,
that is a matter of record.
Whose record?
And fact.
Whose fact?
Just check it out.
Whose fact and whose record?
Google it.
Who's Google? Huh? Who's Google you talking about?
I'm just saying Google
like,
it.
if you Google it, it's going. Who's gonna give the source? If you Google it, who's gonna give you the source?
Reuben.
If you Google it, who's gonna give you the source?
I don't know what you mean by that.
What I mean by that is when you go Google it, whoever sent it to you or gave it to you, or whoever you found, whatever you found,
so you don't believe that.
No, I'm saying so. Whatever you found that you Googled, okay, who gave that? Where did that come from? Where's the origin or source of that?
I'm just saying.
No, I just asked you a question.
I can't.
Okay, so my point.
Have to find the source.
So here's my point. I'd like to know because the source is saying that the school system is good. Do you actually believe, Robert? Do it right after the '60s, during the Martin Luther King days and Malcolm X's 65. Well, hear me out. Okay, in the '60s, okay, and then we're in the '80s, and we're '70s too. You're telling me that our school system was good? Okay. Come on, man.
Let's ask.
Are you kidding me?
Let's ask our audience. Y'all comment, and cause y'all know.
Right.
Y'all know.
We'll let them comment
you agree
on that.
with me or not?
Right. Well, first of all, they got to be from Detroit, or they know about Detroit. And then after that, it's got to be a liking in their own city, right? Where they come from, wherever it is.
What y'all
from
think?
The East Coast to the West Coast, from the South Coast to the North, right?
Y'all help me out?
And everything in between.
Can y'all help me out?
Midwest.
I know what I'm saying.
Right?
Can y'all help me out? The Detroit public school system was one of the best in the country 40 years ago. Was one of the best.
All right, okay, so we're going to table that because, I beg to differ big time. So, but, all right, so let's go to...
How'd you get educated?
Huh?
How'd you get so educated? You came up in Detroit public school system.
I got educated because, first of all, God was with me. That's number one, okay? And I got educated because I had a damn good mother that did her thing in spite of messed up society that she had to work through, okay? Wait a minute, hear me out. Okay, so that's what I had, all right? Everything else was a bunch of bullshit, okay, that I just had to take, okay, or took because there was nothing else. But if I'm going to sit here and say it was good, I have to be a fool. Now, I'm not calling you a fool. I'm just saying maybe you seeing it from a different perspective, or you ain't just seeing it because you don't want to see it.
I need somebody need to, y'all better comment and help me out. Because I'm telling you right now.
Help them out.
What I'm saying here is a fact.
All right, okay. All right.
It's a fact. We had one of the best public school system in the country.
So I just gave you, I put it out there, and I gave you like 2 or 3 hints for you to see a way that you can maybe move it.
I can't go find a source right now.
No, I ain't talking about that, but I'm saying, I said for the 4th time. I'm saying I'm giving you an out. I'm putting it in context, okay? Because it sounds like to me you're in a whole nother context. You're in a white man's context. No, I'm saying if you look at it from a true black man's perspective or context, or how about a black person's concept or ideology, okay, and upbringing and their knowledge, they will tell you, okay, based upon their true knowledge, okay, that hell no, our education was good. It was bad.
See, now you're dealing with semantics.
You weren't listening.
You're dealing with semantics.
We weren't listening, and what they're going to do, what the viewers are going to say is I hope they do. Is I looked at that. No, Rob, you missed it because he was hinting. He kept saying, basically giving you basically hints that it was coming from a different context. And it was clear. I thought you would even pick that up from the very first point.
No, I get it.
We'll roll it back, but you should have picked it up.
I get what you're saying.
That's why I asked you what's in there. First of all, I asked you what's in there. You should have said, wait a minute, what is he talking about?
I get what you're saying. Right. What I am saying is from an educational standpoint. Now, you could argue whether it was good or not, and that's up for debate. But what I'm saying is you can find that there are sources that will tell you that Detroit was one of the best in the country. People came from far and
I mean,
wide.
okay.
To
So let me say this.
to replicate.
So let me say
what
this,
we
Rob.
were doing.
So let me say this, Rob. First of all,
To replicate what we were
all right,
doing.
so you sound like somewhat like an evangelical Christian. Okay.
Oh hell no!
No, you sound like an evangelical Christian.
Oh, hell
so now you're gonna use profanity like Peter used it. You know, when he denied Jesus 3 times.
Hell no.
But listen, come on, man, Rob.
Could have been better. Yes. Were there some?
Did I drop an ash?
Maybe.
Oh, man,
Were there
you
some?
got it.
Were there some discrepancies and some things that were not, right or true, whatever? I understand that, but according to the American standard,
Right.
we have one of the best public school system in the country. People came far and wide to replicate what we were doing, to figure out what we were doing and to replicate it.
According to what now?
History.
Whose history?
American history.
That's the problem. You sound like an evangelical Christian.
Just say- Now we can argue.
You definitely do.
Now we can
Because
argue.
look, the bottom line is
Now we can-
that all that history has been whitewashed. That's what I'm trying to say. Are you feeling me? All right.
I don't know, Reuben.
But well, okay. Let me say it like this. When I say all of it, I'm saying what's most important to you and I. Okay, that stuff has been whitewashed. Yes, there's going to be a little bit in there. In fact, Jesus said it this way: beware of the leaven of the Pharisees. In other words, be aware of the leaven. Be aware of that little part of the yeast. Okay, that yeast that can rise a loaf of bread. Okay, cause it to blow up, basically, right? And so that's what we're talking about right now.
Right.
So I'm like, no, that little bit. I'm talking about if it's been whitewashed, yes, there's some truth in it, but it is so out of proportion that no, that's a lie.
So let me ask you this.
And so there's a lot of American history that is a lie.
So here's my point.
And the reason why I know this is because they're working really hard to keep us from bringing in certain truths through the libraries and through the school systems. And we see that happening right now, this resistance from white nationalism and white evangelicalism, if you will. No, you brought it up.
That's another argument.
It's not another argument. You brought it up. I did.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is there was a time when the students in Detroit, they were graduating at a way higher rate than they are now. I want to say, I don't even know the numbers, but the graduation rate in Detroit is horrible right now.
All right,
40 years ago, it was much higher. People were graduating, okay? They knew the basics, English, math, STEM, and all that other stuff. It was, no, I'm just saying.
No STEM. Barely.
Did
you say STEM?
No, STEM is a...
I know what you're saying, but I mean, no, they wasn't giving us no STEM back then either.
Science.
A few folks, I mean, a little bit, but okay, all right. So we're just talking about context. So let's just move from there because I think I hear what you're saying. What you're saying is what the history has said about it based upon the data that they gave us. Okay, I get that. And there probably is no denying that. I don't know. I'm just saying, whatever it is that they gave us was a bunch of bullshit in comparison to what they got.
Let me ask you this.
That's all I'm really trying to say.
Let me ask you this. Would you want your child to grow up in the Detroit school system today versus 40 years ago? Which system would you want your child to grow up?
No, that's a really good
question. If you're given, if you're given an opportunity, which would you would rather? Go ahead.
I got the question, all right, and I was just going to say that actually is a very good question. You asked me, and I'm going to let you to ask it again and make it clear so that I can ask the question because I think it's a very good question. Go ahead and say it again with clarity.
Where would you, if you had a child born right today, would you want that child to be to be involved in the Detroit public school system today versus 40 years ago? Which would you have? Which would you prefer?
Well, I'll say this. Before I answer it, before I give you my answer, I'm going to touch up on a little bit of what I'm hearing you saying and some other angles and maybe some angles that I see it about it. I see both sides. Okay, that's why I said. That's why I said it was a good question. I see both sides, and I don't necessarily say that there's a wrong side per se. I can tell you the side that I be on. Some people would think and would say, I am not going to put my child in a school system, okay, that the teachers don't challenge me. There's all kind of chaos in the classroom. There is no order. The kids don't really want to be there. And there's everything else going on there that's unimaginable that a teacher shouldn't have to deal with. Okay, and that is a reality in a lot of the school systems that we're dealing with in the urban cities, which is a sad reality. Okay, and we know that there's a reason for that. But, okay, back to the point. Yes, it's today. That's what I'm saying. It's a good point. So I see that. But I also see the side that says, and so you say, okay, because of that, I'm not, hell no, my child is not going to that school. Okay, no, I'm going to take them to the suburbs, okay, and I'm going to put them in that system and, hey, at least they're going to get that education, and if they got to go back and help the system or whatever else in the inner cities, they got to go back and be then so be it. But I'm going to put them over here in a safe environment while I have them under my family and roof. Right. I think that's a good thought. In fact, that's what I did, and that's what you did. Okay, but that was then. This is now. I kind of see some of the other side, even though I still probably would do it that way. But I can understand people saying, if I'm going to be a solution, okay, because in fact, I heard somebody mention this. I thought it was powerful. Who was it? I'll think of it in a minute. And she said, I want to keep my child in this school system, okay, because I would keep him, and I am keeping her right now in the school system, because my child, who's black, okay, I'm not going, if I'm going to be a part of the community, of the system, if I'm going to speak truth to power about it, then I'm going to have the guts to think beyond me, even beyond my child. Now, that's some deep love, Rob.
That's tough.
That's some powerful stuff that and so that what makes me say, whew, right? But for anybody that would think that way, I got to give them mad love.
I do.
And I know people that do that thing.
I do too.
And think that way, right?
I do too.
And so they allow, and they put them child, and they do it. And guess what? They are a part of that community, and they get down with it, okay? And their children are surviving it. And not only surviving it, but thriving in it, and achieving it, even though there's some other sides of it that they mention and talk about, boy, if I had to do it again,
Sure.
But they're doing it, right? So it's a tough decision.
I
don't think that I would even do that to this day. I think I would keep my child out of a bad environment if I were in that type of environment, and if I had the means to keep them out.
Right.
But, Rob, it goes both ways.
It does.
It cuts both ways, and there's good and bad in it all.
I'm
both.
just saying that we have to get better.
Right.
We have to get our school system in a better place. Okay.
Right.
There's going to take some sacrifices.
Right.
Okay. Personally, as a parent, presently, the condition that are presently in the Detroit public school districts,
Right.
for the most part, now there are some good schools, there are,
Right.
but for the most part,
Right.
if I had a child today, a child that was in,
That was of that age.
from K to
Right,
K
to
12,
12.
to K through high school, whatever, 12.
Right, pre.
And I don't think I could allow my child
Right. Why?
to go to Detroit public school
Why?
system.
Why? Real quick. Why?
Because the inferior education.
Right. And probably for me would be inferior education and added to this, and I think you would agree, safety.
Yeah.
Right? So you look at all those things and you say, you know what? Right? And that's just among a lot of things, right? But
For the most part.
right? No, I'm just saying. And
They're good schools.
Well, no, of course.
There are good schools.
All I'm saying is even in all of its goodness, it has a major struggle because of the adversity that they got to go through.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm really just saying. I'm not blaming on the kids, neither I'm blaming on the parents in the big grand scheme of things.
Right.
The system, and I'm not just the system kind of guy
Right.
to blame the system,
Right.
but I'm calling the system out because it's the truth, right? And I would do that,
Right.
and I do it probably quite often,
Right.
but it's the truth,
It
right? But so we're gonna move from this point, but I do think at the end of the day, I agree with you. I don't think that I have I would just go that way.
Yeah.
I would go with the
Yeah.
safety and superior education.
Yeah.
Right now, even though I admire the hell out of what other people do, people of black folk, okay, do as far as keeping their children in these school systems,
Yeah.
working within those school systems.
Sure.
I'm talking about through as not just being a parent advocate, a child advocate, to working at the school, working in the library, working as a new name, you know, that person that steps into the school, the rooms, and that are with the students every day, alongside the teacher, those teacher aides. You got those folks doing it every day. I mean, doing a hell of a job in the community with what they got, and what they got is limited. What they got is potatoes, and they have to make not only potato chips, okay, but they have to learn to try to be a manufacturer of the potato chips.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
A potato chip company or something to really begin to make waves, and they're not there. They just got potato chips, and they're eating that to survive.
Right.
And they're doing a hell of a job with that. Right? So I agree with you, but so I can't remember, but bro, I do think you could do it both ways, and I don't think there's no wrong way either way. So because that child that grew up in the neighborhood, in the suburbs, like our children, right?
Yeah.
Those children went back and gave back to the community and are giving back now. Okay, like very few do.
Right.
So, and I'm proud of that, and they continue to do that.
Right. Right.
Our children in the community, African American community, the black community, right? So they're giving back that way, and they got the means to give back.
Right.
Right? So that was our way of doing it.
Right.
I think you can have it both ways. That's the way I would go. But at the end of the day, I got mad love for those that do it opposite of me. Just as long as we can get into the same place.
I will say this, though. I have mad love for people that make those sacrifices. I will say this, that now,
we're going to segue out.
if I had to, to be an advocate, if I had a child of that, there are some amazing schools in Detroit. Let that be known.
You mean right now?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I agree. But there's a reason why. There's a reason why there's an amazing school in Detroit. It's not because it's because these parents and these community organizers and people in the community are forcing it, but it's far too few.
It's just
we gotta go, right?
Yeah, we gotta.
We gotta make sure that, and make sure you do this. You like, comment, subscribe. Please click on that notification bell, and we got merch for you. Listen, we have just begun, as I said before. My brother, my twin brother, Rob. Thanks for being a part of it, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, man, this is good stuff.
This is just beginning. What's that hat? That cap?
Certified.
Detroit certified. I love it. And they are one of our sponsors, and we appreciate that. Mad love to Detroit Certified. And you're going to see a lot of stuff coming from merch, that is, coming from Detroit Certified. I mean, we already got it, but we got more. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Click on the notification bell, and I think you'll like it. In fact, I know you'll like it.
Yes, sir.
Until next time, make sure you remember, and always remember, and let someone else know that we are one.